So good afternoon, everyone. Pleasure to be here today. I have the challenge of speaking right after lunch. So I may be down walking around shortly just to make sure everybody is still awake. But thanks for the opportunity to share our story. When Gord called a few months ago and said, hey, would you be prepared to help us out? I said, absolutely. Be happy to share our story. At Kitchen Partners, we've benefited significantly from the partnership that we have with Alma. And it was actually fun to put this together to sort of pause and reflect and go back on some of the things that we've done together. So today, what I'm really hoping to do is to share a little bit about our business and our business strategy and how partnerships play such an important role in our success. As I was putting together my presentation, I said, what am I going to share? What can I actually, what knowledge can I impart on this very illustrious group of very informed people? So I struggled for a little bit, but I said, well, our company is really one of the founding pieces of our company is really around partnerships. So that's a lot about what I'm going to talk about today. So in terms of what I hope you take away from today, these actually are, it's kind of interesting. There's a lot of parallels in some of the other presentations today. You'd think we actually got together and had the conversation before we did our presentations. But this is all about, you know, I hope today after the presentation, you're going to have a sense of what we believe is that engaging all employees, key suppliers, customers, government, and other stakeholders in your business and your business strategy will lead to increased productivity, profitability, and ultimately a sustainable organization. That's really, really important. Also a very clear business strategy. I'm going to share ours with you in a few minutes. And we were very deliberate early on in our process of building our strategy. So what are you and what are you not? I think that's really important. Once again, Frank talked a little bit about that in terms of they don't outsource. That's a pillar by which they stand by. So that clear business strategy, really important. And I think a partnership approach is required to create win-win situations. And I think in business today, you look at successful organizations, they build strong partnerships, they have strong partners in various areas of the supply chain and in support, and also from a customer standpoint as well. And last but not least, engaging all stakeholders in a meaningful way takes time, determination, and patience. We've been at this for 7.5 years now, and some of those investments that we made early on in partnerships are only just beginning to truly make a big difference today. So first of all, you need to believe in partnerships. Secondly, you need to get out there and actually get it done. But it takes time and it takes energy. So a little bit about me before we jump into the Kitchen Partner story, because I think this has a bit of an impact on clearly our company, and it's what we believe in as an organization. So one of the things that I was fortunate to have early in my career was to work in big companies. So lots of folks here I know have done the same thing, but working at Maple Leaf, working at Labatt, working all around the globe, you kind of learn things. And being able to bring that to bear in a much smaller business in the last 8 years has actually been really quite rewarding. Small company attitude. I think I was always an entrepreneur in a big company that was frustrated. So it's really been fun the last 8 years to get out there and actually make something happen, and it's actually a lot of fun. You know, running a $20 million business is a whole lot different than running a $500 million business. But the ability to actually get things done is actually very rewarding, and you're not sort of waiting on head office to make decisions or this to do that. If it's the old, if it's to be, it's about, you know, getting it done. So really important to do those things. It's all about people. You hear this and you think about it, and yeah, it's all about people. But as I was putting the presentation together, I was thinking about one of my very first mentors and one of my very first leadership positions at Labatt. And my boss brought me in the office and said, Jeff, I'd just like to talk to you about the 3 most important things you need to do as you embark on your leadership career. I said, oh, great. I went back to my office, I got my pad of paper and my pen, and I'm all ready to go. So I went into his office and he said, okay, let's get started. Now, the very first thing you need to do as a leader is to go get the very best people. Oh, that makes good sense. I got my pen out, my pen and my paper, wrote it down, had a little chat about that for a few minutes, and he said, now the second most important thing that you need to do is go get the very best people. Oh, okay. So I wrote that down. I was a little bit puzzled by the story. And then, so we chatted about that again, about the importance of people and having great people and people that are committed, people that understand what you're trying to do, people who are aligned to the company's goals and visions. And then he said, now the third thing that you need to do after you've done 1 and 2 is go get the very best people. So I'm totally confused at this point. I'm thinking, really, is that important? I mean, don't I have to have a strategy, and don't I have this and that? And his whole philosophy was, best people will help you win. And the last line that he used, which I'll never forget, is, the team that ends up with the most very best people wins the game. So think about that in your own sort of situation, your company, and it's true. And being on teams over the years, we've got great people who are all aligned. And in those teams where maybe people aren't aligned and they're not really working together, it can be really challenging and not to the best benefit of the organization. So I mean, that to me is all about people. The part I love about sort of being where I am today is, if it doesn't work, we say goodbye. They're not bad people, but you know what? We kind of move on. And it's my responsibility in our organization to make sure that we have people who are aligned and actually believe in what we're doing. And people come to me and they say, this really isn't kind of working out for us. These people, this person maybe in a department or working as a supervisor, and they're not extolling the company values. And when they come and talk to me about that, I mean, I need to do something about it, because the minute I let that go by, it's all over. So really, really important. So it's all about people. It's about we and not me. And as I've got probably a little bit older, I've started to actually put a line down in the middle of sort of groups of people, and I go, there's me people and there's we people. And me people is what's in it for me. It's all about me. It's all about me. There's me companies as well that are horrible partners, because it's all about them. They want everything their way. They want it the cheapest possible. They're out to bankrupt you. And then there's actually we companies and we supply partners that say, let's figure this out together. So I, as I kind of wander my way through life now, I'm looking at people going, well, that's a me person, and that's a we person, and that's a me person, and that's a we person. And personally, I'd much rather work with we people than me people, because me people there's limited potential to actually grow, I think, with me people and me companies. At the end of the day, way more, there's way too much said, not enough done. I think it was Winston Churchill said, well done is better than well said. So getting stuff done is really important to us and our company, and I think that's been important for us as we've grown our organization. Last but not least, and it's a little bit back to the strategy conversation, if you don't know where you're going, any road will take you there. And as you're trying to sort of figure out an organization, where you're going, what your business is going to be all about, if you can't explain clearly to your employees, if you can't explain clearly to your suppliers, if you can't explain clearly to your customers where you're going and what your strategy is all about, the chances of success are very, very slim. So that's a little bit about, those are some sort of things that I kind of hold true and sort of guide my life. So who was Kitchen Partners? I'm sure there's lots of people in this room who've never heard about this little quirky company in Edmonton, Alberta. So we're a mid-sized Edmonton-based company. Having lived in big organizations, we love to say it's worldwide headquarters, because it is. So that's lots of fun. We're privately held. There's 5 partners in our business. One of our partners is actually one of the Dragons on Dragons Den, Jim Treliving. So I've known Jim for a long, long time. So he's a partner in the business, which is always lots of fun, because lots of those food companies that show up in Dragons Den end up on my desk. What do you think about these guys? It's quite interesting sometimes. We built our organization to support our strategy, and you're going to see our business strategy in a couple of slides, but we built our organization to support it. So I think that's really important as well. We went out and hired people who had lots of experience, with the belief of, if we built a management team and a leadership team that was far larger than our business, the chances of success and the chances of growing rapidly would be much better. So a lot of us have big company experiences. We were sort of frustrated entrepreneurs, I think, in large multinational organizations. So when it comes time to do big projects, to do capital planning, to do financial planning, we've all done those kinds of things in past lives, so we can get them done quickly and efficiently. We have a strong set of organizational values that we believe in and that we live by. People that don't, they don't belong, and it doesn't make them bad people, but they don't last long in our company. It's about teamwork, it's about integrity, it's about working together, and it's really all about the people. And if you don't believe in others and don't believe in people, then chances are you're not going to be in our company. We believe that people make a difference. They make a difference in our company. We take a team approach to everything we do. And we're about 35,000 square feet in Edmonton. And we also, with the support of Alma last year, we got into an incubator suite in Leduc. And that's been tremendously helpful in growing our business. We actually ran out of capacity about 18 months ago, so we were turning down business left, right, and center, which was really painful, but the right thing to do. it's great now to be actually sort of out on the hunt again for new business. So what do we do? So we do custom prepared food solutions for the food service industry in Canada. That's what we do today. What that means is everything that we make is for a customer. We don't have Kitchen Partner branded products. We do work with, well, I'll share it with you in a couple of minutes, but everything that we make is a proprietary recipe for a particular customer. And we focus on the food service industry and the retail deli industry to some degree. But we focus there because we believe we can win, and I'll share that with you in a couple of minutes. And we make sauces, soups, chili, lasagna, cooked beef, beef crumble. Most of what we make is what we call stirred food. So we put it in big kettles and we cook it and we bag it and we chill it. So some of the folks that we do business with, there's some very large brands there. And we're very privileged to do business with many of the large brands in Canada. So Boston Pizza is a big customer. We do work with Sobeys, a lot of custom product for GFS. We do work for Costco across Canada. We do their pizza sauce, and we've been working for a couple of years with PTI. So they're lots of fun to work with. 45,000 people they feed every day in northern parts of this province and other parts, and it's a fascinating business. And they are wonderful partners. They push us and they shove us, and we push back and we shove, but we get to a great place because we're in it for the long term together. So it's great to do business with folks like that. And we compete with the big guys. So our competitors are Nestle, Campbell's, and Heinz. And I'm happy to say, and we're fortunate that we probably win 8, 9 times out of 10 when we compete with those guys, which, once again, you'd say, as a little guy in Edmonton, Alberta, how is it that you do that? And we've learned over the years some things that we need to do. And we compete in our space. We don't try to compete. We're never going to put a Kitchen Partner soup and go visit Sobeys, because we'll get killed. We'll absolutely get killed. The large multinationals aren't going to allow us to be successful there. So that's a little bit about our vision, about what we do. So our vision, North America's most trusted partner of custom prepared food solutions. Interesting. Frank's got the word trust in there as well. I think I saw it in someone else's presentation as well today. We recently rejigged our vision and our mission. The thrust is the same, but some of the words that we chose are different. Trusted is a really important word. And once again, we do custom products. So Boston Pizza Alfredo sauce we make for every restaurant in Canada. There's a tremendous amount of trust that they put in us that we're going to make it right. It's going to be consistent from batch to batch, and that we will never disappoint one of their guests. So that's a tremendous amount of responsibility that we wear because their brand is at stake. Versus a Kitchen Partner branded product on the shelf in, Safeway and Medicine Hat. Well, Kitchen Partner's brand is, if that product doesn't perform, somebody says, well, I'm never going to buy that again, but they'll continue going back to that retailer. So we have a tremendous responsibility. But it also helps us with our organization and helping people understand what we're trying to do. And we've taken to the point where we actually go to the floor with our employees. So in our kitchen where we have kettles and we actually cook, we've got batchers and we've got cooks. We talk to them about how do you contribute to us being North America's most trusted partner of custom prepared food solutions. So it's about making sure the right ingredients are in the kettle, making sure that the proper weight's in the kettle, making sure that they cook it properly, making sure that the tests are actually conducted, the pH test and viscosity test and all those things are done. So they feel connected to our vision. They understand how they individually can make a difference in our company, and that's really important. So that word trust is big, and it's been very helpful in bringing us together as an organization. And then our mission really is all about our customers. If we look after our customers' businesses and then meet their needs, our business is going to get looked after. Not everybody gets this. And once again, we've actually said goodbye to customers because all they want to do is scrap. They want to talk about, how cheap is it going to be tomorrow and how cheap is it going to be the day after. We're going to be competitive. We understand that, but let's not talk about it every day. And those customers who want to talk about it every day, we're not made for each other. So we do RFPs and we compete with the big guys and we're competitive, but we don't want to talk about price every day because we think that's dysfunctional. We'd rather add value in different ways to their business. And the way we do that, is by developing custom food solutions more quickly. So one of the things that the food service business wants is speed. They want things done quickly. So we have 2 masters of food science in our building that are exclusively focused on product development. And we've got, I think, 42 products in development right now in our facility. 95% of those will get to market because they're based on a customer need. Customer says, hey, we're looking for a soup that's kind of like this or like that. We go to work, we go and show it to them. They go, a little bit change, a little bit change. And usually within a few weeks or a month, that product's in the marketplace. So that's competitive advantage for us versus the big guys. The big guys can't do that. It's impossible for them to be able to do that. By the time we actually had an experiment actually, it was not an experiment, it was actually real life. It was about 6 months ago where a customer came to us and they went to another big multinational the very same day and said, here's the brief, go. So we went and off we went. We developed two prototypes, got feedback twice, actually got pricing done and had launched the product, and the other company came back with their first sample. So point of difference for us for sure. And we can never lose that because that's how we win. Consistency is another thing that's really important. Food service trade wants to make sure that that Alfredo sauce is the same every single day. From Vancouver to St. John's, from January to July, it's got to be the same. And we go to great lengths to make sure that that happens with product testing and also ingredients. A lot of the big guys, they do least cost formulation. So what is it? It could be thick as a wallpaper paste one day and skim milk the next. That's no good for the food service business. So we're focused exclusively on that. And cost effectively, we understand that we need to be competitive. And we've been fortunate to work with lots of our supply partners who've helped us. We've figured out some interesting ways from a logistics standpoint to compete, but we found ways to compete. So that's sort of the vision and mission of our organization. So this is our business plan on one page. This essentially hasn't changed, but it looks a little different than it did last year. And once again, we take our work seriously. We don't take ourselves too seriously sometimes. So what's wrong with having a business plan that looks like pots on a stove? And in really simple terms, I mean, it looks busy, but it's very powerful with our employees as we explain what it is we're trying to do, and they see it on a regular basis. So just in very simple terms, the pots are our strategy. So this is what we need to do in order to win, and we know it's competitive advantage. So consistent, high quality, competitively priced, custom food products produced in a food safe, as well as safe for our employees, and environmentally responsible manner. So that's kind of the day-to-day operation. So we need to do that. And behind that is a whole series of activities on goals and objectives that the team that delivers that is responsible for. The second piece is nimble, highly knowledgeable and creative developer of customized food solutions. That's back to that story where we get stuff done. We've got 2 masters of food science. They are amazing at what they can do. I could never in a million years do what they do, but that's their role on the team, and they play it impeccably. And the last is really, being the developer and nurturer of trusting and mutually beneficial partnerships. We used to have relationships in there, and we've changed this to partnerships. And we actually put it in our strategy because we think it's competitive advantage. And as we look to our competitors, the big multinationals, how many of them have really deep partnerships with their customers or with their supply chain? Because it's all about cost. It's all about who's my sales rep going to be tomorrow, who's the director of sales going to be tomorrow. It's sort of the deck chairs change on a regular basis. So we're not going anywhere. We're owners, and so the partnerships that we've been able to develop with our customers have been actually pretty outstanding. So that's the strategy. So how do you actually cook the pots? Right? You need heat to sort of fire up the pots. So we talk about having a workplace full of the very best people, passionate about achieving our vision. That's it. That's back to the people piece. If they understand what we're trying to do, they understand their role in doing it, and we keep them engaged, keep them informed, they do amazing things, and they have done so for a long time. The blue bar is really about ready capacity and strong manufacturing capabilities to support dynamic company growth. As I said a little earlier, we lost our way in terms of capacity. We filled up way faster than we'd anticipated, and we ran out of capacity. So we never want that to happen again. So we're actually working on 2015 capacity right now. Really important. And the last is, is around strong systems, processes, and metrics to ensure high performance and continuous improvement. It's the old story, what gets measured gets managed, and you can't get better at if you don't know where you are today. So those things are really important. And the other piece that we tackled last year was actually a new ERP system. So we spent a lot of money with a belief that it was going to be a foundation for our future. So we have a totally integrated manufacturing system in manufacturing planning, inventory management, all that stuff is bundled together in a state-of-the-art ERP solution, which is working like a charm. So there you have it. That's our business plan on one page. So as I said, it's easy to communicate. Our employees see this every 6 weeks. We talk about their role. Typically, we're talking about the gold pot, because that's what they do. How do they deliver consistency? Ingredients, weights, temperatures, and cooking over and over and over again. And they've responded extremely well to that. So that's sort of the game plan. So this is our track record on growth. So we really got after this, I guess, back in 2005. 2009, we really committed ourselves to the processing business. So we're about 8 times the size of where we were in 2005. We've grown from about $2.5 million to, we'll push about $24 million in revenue this year. And it's been very simple. We follow our strategy. We do what we say we're going to do. We don't do things that we said we never wanted to do, and just stay on it. And the reputation now is our reputation in the marketplace is to the point where we're actually not cold calling anymore, because we've got people calling us on a regular basis. Can you help us with this? Can you help us with that? And typically what happens is, I got a problem, I need help. So they'll talk to a colleague in the food service industry. Well, you should call those guys at Kitchen Partners, guys and gals at Kitchen Partners. So they call us, here's what I'm looking for. So we go about our business. Typically, after that first product gets made, then could you do this? And could you do that? And what about this? And what about that? So many of our customers, we started with one product, and some of them were up at 20 or 25 products that we produce for them, just based on sort of business performance. So that's good. So I'd just like to go back to the partnership pot for a few minutes and talk about the whole notion of our partnership journey. Partnership is important. It's embedded in the name of our company. It wasn't by circumstance that we called the company Kitchen Partners, because that's the way we wanted to do business, and we wanted to do business with like-minded people. And being partners isn't always easy. It's vulnerable to share, and it takes courage to step out there. When you meet somebody and there may be, a supplier that you may have to negotiate with someday. So it's how much do you want to share? And do you actually step all the way out? Do you step part way out? Where's the balance? And we found that going first, stepping out there, yeah, it's vulnerable, but you know what? The rewards can be absolutely significant. So we do that. We focus on win-win. So with our customers, sometimes we take it right in the teeth because it's the right thing to do. And it's painful some days to say, oh, crap, they're right, we're wrong. We're not even going to contest this, and on we go to the next place. And it makes us stronger as a company, because we've got partners all over this country and in the US where they're encouraging us to actually be successful. And we also share our plans and our success with our partners. So every year we bring the CFIA in and present our business plan. They were really awkward at first. They go, what are you guys doing? What's this all about? We just want to share what we're trying to do. Here's our 5-year plan. Here's what we're trying to accomplish. Here's what we're thinking about from a facility standpoint. And it goes a long way. We meet with the Alma team at least once a year and share our business performance, financial performance, what's going on, what our plans are for the future. So partnerships, really important. I came across this visual a couple of months ago, and I think it's actually a really powerful one in terms of thinking about your business or your organization. So think of the people that might be in that boat, and think about a great team that might be in that boat. So they're all in the right seat. They've all got their hands on their oar. They're all pulling together with the same, amount of determination. There's somebody probably steering at the back. But then think about the team that's not very cohesive. Wrong people in the wrong seats. Some people are paddling forward, some are paddling backwards. They're going around in circles. No one's steering the boat. So this to me is actually a really powerful visual, and we've begun to use it in our company to think about, making sure that we're together. Because it only takes a couple people out of sequence in that paddling routine, and the whole thing gets messed up. But when that whole boat's actually rowing together, wow, it's really, really powerful. So I'd just like to tell you a couple of partnership stories. And the first starts with our early entry into the capital project adventure, I guess, in Alberta. So back in, I guess it was probably 05, 06, I joined the company, and we needed to upgrade a bunch of our capital. So we went out and marched ahead. We bought a couple of kettles and a bag filler and a chiller, and I think we spent close to $2 million and felt really good about it, got it started. And I was at some industry function, I think it was about 6 months later, and somebody said to me, well, did you take advantage of the ALIDF fund? I went, what? What are you talking about? Well, there's money available to do this and do that. We had walked right by about $300,000 in potential funding. So that was a big ouchie. It's like, well, that wasn't very smart. So next day on the phone, I happened to connect with Gordon, actually, in Alberta Agriculture, and said, we're not experts in all this program and this funding, but can you help us? So we went over to visit with Gordon and some folks at Alberta Agriculture and said, here's our vision for the future. Here's our plan. We're not experts on government programs. Can you help us? Can we work together? And to this day, we continue to walk down the trail together. So that's a great partnership that came along. Another one is is our tomato supplier in California. So Morningstar is one of the largest tomato processors in the world, actually. They're based in California, have many plants. And about 6 years ago, we were buying sort of dribs and drabs of tomatoes, a pallet of this, pallet of that. And we happened to be in California. We said, why don't we go see these guys? So we marched right in, like we owned the place. We actually booked a meeting with the CEO and said, here's our dream, here's our vision of what we're trying to do. He said, wow, that's exciting. Let's be part of that. So they bypassed the broker network in Canada. So we deal directly with Morningstar, the only company in Canada. They do business with lots of other companies in Canada. Their technical people are on call whenever we need them. They're in our building probably 5 or 6 times a year. They come and work with us. And our business has grown with them probably from 200,000 pounds to, I think we just contracted just north of 5 million pounds of tomatoes that come up in rail cars from California. So it's just kind of one of those, all right, that's a good partner, let's try. And you don't, nothing ventured, nothing gained. So they're great partners in our business. Whenever we have a problem or an issue or a new product or something that we're trying to figure out, we can count on them to jump on a plane and be in our facility the next day. So great, great, great partners. Are we paying a premium for their product? I'm not sure. But we've explained to them, we trust them as partners. And if ever the day comes where we have reason to believe that they're not treating us as they should, we'll be doing business with somebody else. But there's a really interesting tension when you have that conversation with a supplier to say, I expect you to treat me as you treat people of equal size in your customer base. Puts a tremendous amount of tension in making sure that they're doing it. And we've had people come back to us and say, we need to make a few adjustments to your pricing. We didn't go and punch them in the nose and said, you gotta lower your price. We just said, treat us fairly as you would treat anybody else our size. And it's worked really well for us. And the last story is really around construction. So there's a company in Edmonton called Fillmore Construction that we've been doing business with for years. And they are true partners in our business. They built part of the building a number of years ago. But when we have anything to do, we're thinking about anything in our building, they're the go-to people. We recently did a master facility plan for our structure, and they were integral to the part. So they sat in meeting after meeting with our engineers and all those guys, never a bill, but they are there for us, and they're great partners. Will they get the business when we expand? Absolutely. Will we pay a premium? I'm not sure, maybe a little bit, but they've been thinking about our business for many years. So those are some partnership stories. So in terms of our partnership with Alma, once again, we have been the beneficiary of lots of support, both financial. There's been lots of guidance, lots of sort of counseling in terms of our business and what we should be thinking about. Once again, we know where the money comes from other places as well, so we're very thankful to the federal government and the province of Alberta. We believe that Alma is a true partner in our business. We treat them with the highest regard, the highest respect, and when Gord picks up the phone and says, hey, can you come? Like, there's no question. I would be here because that's what good partners do for each other. So that's really important. We believe we need to give back. So the people of Alberta have given us, us resources through Alma, through the provincial government, and we need to give back to other companies and to the government as well. So we help where we can. We need to assist each other in achieving our mutual goals. So, once again, understanding Alma's vision. It's funny, it's popped up a few times today, but, to be the catalyst in the development of profitable, internationally competitive livestock and meat industry in Alberta. We have a responsibility to help Alma achieve that vision if, in fact, we want to be true partners. So I think that's really important. We don't take the support for granted. It's a privilege and not a right. And I think, unfortunately, some people or some organizations get into the routine of, well, it's my right to get more money from government, and we see it as a privilege, and we need to earn it each and every time we do a project to deliver the goods, to do a great job with our partner. And often we get calls from various people in government saying, hey, we got this really cool program, why don't you guys participate? And we, more often than not, say, you know what, it's not quite on strategy right now. We're actually working on it. We've got a full slate. But when we're ready, we'll be back, and we'll work closely with you because we want to make sure that you get good value for your time and your money as well. That's just what good partners do. And last but not least, there's excellent people in government working on our business and supporting us that we're truly thankful for the support in our organization. So a couple quick slides to wrap up. Proud moment. This is last August when we got our second stirred food line up and running in Leduc. Together with Alma and many other partners, we beat a very aggressive schedule, and we're up and running on time and slightly under budget. We've produced just over 2 million pounds of meat sauce since we began production. And the product, we could not have made that without this investment, as our facility back in Edmonton is running 5/24, so we're full. It's really a platform for future growth. So we've got one shift in there now. We'll be going to a second shift this fall. And the equipment that we've invested in will actually go back into our facility in 2015. So a very happy, committed team. And bottom line, we're a stronger, larger, more competitive organization as a result of the investments that we made in Leduc with Alma's support. So just to go back to, I hope you have a sense, at least of what we believe. So engaging employees, suppliers, customers, and government and other stakeholders in the business absolutely leads to more profitability, more sustainable, and more successful organization. There's absolutely no doubt. And I'd be with Frank in terms of guaranteeing that that sort of thing is absolutely critical to success. Having a clear strategy that everyone understands leads to better performance. If your employees and your other stakeholders understand what you're trying to do, they can help. If they don't know where you're going, they can't help what you're trying to do. And as a smaller organization, it's critical for us to have strong and vibrant partnerships because it expands our base of expertise and knowledge outside our company. And we've got very, very aggressive growth plans, and engaging all our stakeholders is really important. We can't do it alone. We've got lots of people all over the country and into the US that are going, let's go. How can we help you be successful? So last but not least, a big thank you to the team at Alma and to the funding partners. We are successful together with a great group of stakeholders and a great group of individuals who are helping us be successful. Thanks. Have a great afternoon.